first things first. The fact that you could say that one of these movies is far superior to the other one just proves what a stew nod you are. All right. The reason this is a debate, a classic debate, a time-tested debate, and a debate that, as far as I know, I've never really heard a convincing answer either way, is because the margin is razor thin.
That scene in the first one, right, where she gets beaten with the belt while pregnant, my God, that's like, it's chilling to watch that.
I feel you. The Vito origin story is something that I didn't think I needed until I saw it, right? And then you go like, okay, well, this makes a lot of sense now. Now I understand the man I was dealing with.
Vito, maybe he wasn't ultra forgiving, but he worked with loyalty and favors, and he kind of built an empire on that, where contrasting to Michael, he built his empire on cold-blooded pragmatism, man. Like, he just was like, this is how it's gonna be, follow the rules or you get got. Alright guys, it's the ancient argument. We're bringing it back, and we're finally going to decide who's right, who's wrong. AI is going to let us know. Please stick around, enjoy the show, like, share, subscribe. We love you. See you. Bye! You want to talk about character? Character. We get in just like enhanced character development. I was wondering when you would throw gravy tits at me.
My final argument is one word, and that word is...
This isn't a show about crime or about gangsters. It's a movie about family. Hello and welcome to the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the one and only Bern Podcast. On this show, we're going to be asking AI the hard-hitting questions and seeing if AI truly has all the answers. There's no question too crazy, no inquiry too outrageous, and no query too queer. AI may have all the answers, but we're here to prove that you can't have great answers without great questions. If you'd like to send us some questions to Ask AI, then fucking do it. We've asked a million times, and you haven't done it, so whatever.
No one ever has
No
sent
one
a
has
single
ever
one.
sent it. But if you want to reach out to us, we're available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. Please remember to check out all our shows, airing Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Tonight's question is... Hey AI, what's better, The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2? Fans of the show, listeners of the show will know what we're saying. Enjoy the show, Daddy. DeNiro, Brando, Pacino, Duvall, Coppola wraps it all up. Who's gonna win? Nuts on the chinny nuts, Chinny Nut City, Daddy Magoo. Benoit Pahoud, Cazale. Let's talk about, let's do about, let's be about. First things first, I got the shoulders out with the hair. And I know Daddy's loving it. First things fucking second here, we're bringing back an oldie but a goodie. Bro, I almost damn forgot about all the questions we would ask. So, for all our new people joining us that haven't gone and seen our over 400 episode catalog, before we started the Ask AI gimmick, we used to be an interview format, right? And we've had hundreds of guests on this show, literally hundreds. And what we would do for the hundreds of guests is that we would ask them some what we called get to know you questions, right? And they're basic, like just what food do you like better, blah, 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 Cheetos, amusement parks, Xbox, whatever, kind of things like that. And one of the staples was, what movie do you think is better, The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part II, right? And I'll tell you, Bern, when we had when we first started the show, the demographic we pulled from was mostly guys like us that fit our demo. That was 4 years ago, right? We've adapted. Our demo has expanded. So we would get people on here that would either be younger or female or whatever that had never seen either Godfather Part 1 or Godfather Part 2, right? And they would they're like, yeah, we haven't seen it. Or someone would just say Goodfellas. We got Goodfellas so many times.
I was going to say
So many
the
times.
default answer most of the time, and I think that's kind of why the question got retired as the demo expanded. Uh, People would be like, I don't know, Goodfellas. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with Goodfellas. It's a great movie. It wouldn't fucking exist without the first two Godfather movies. But anyway, moving right
True.
along.
One of the best ones though is when we had Jackie Martling on the show. Shout out legendary Jackie Martling was on the Howard Stern show for 20 years.
Joke
Incredible
Man.
comedian, Jackie Jokeman Martling, legendary comedian. He was on the show, and he was kind of one of our first big gets. But when he was on the show, we tried to do that segment, right? So I was like, "What movie do you think better, Godfather Part One or Godfather Part 2?" And he just said, "Yes." And I was like, what about beer or wine? He's like, "Yep, that's the one. Yep." And I was like, "Okay, so you're media trained to not make definitive answers about stupid stuff." But his episode was awesome. And it was also like 250 episodes ago, so check it out in the catalog. He was one of our
Damn.
first big gets, though. Yeah, dude, we had him right. Then we had a string like we had like D Siren, Adrenal Winners. We had a couple of pro fighters, pro hockey player. We had some comedians. Like we had a string, and then a ton of porn stars.
Yeah.
So many porn stars that I kind of had to stop interviewing people because they thought it was important. Like, dude, so many. We had. I mean, I know I'm bird walking here, but we had so many porn stars on the show that we had gotten full press and media passes to Exotica, New Jersey, which is like the Comic Con of porn, and we almost went, but then well, I was like, babe, it's just. I asked my wife. I was like, babe, it's just for the show, please. And she's like, how would you like it if I went to a hot guy with huge dicks convention? And I was like, well, isn't that like coming home? And she's like, no, it's not. And I was like, okay, dark hair, big shoulders, let's do it. But either way, Benoit Pahoud, we're here to talk about something, and it's a
Oof.
debate we've been raging for a while. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
you're a number oneer and I'm a
Hmm.
number two. Okay? Godfather Part 2 is the far superior movie. Not taking anything away from Godfather Part 1, but it's just not Part 2. So, Bern, how about this? I'll give you the floor. Please, hit me with something. What do you got?
All right, folks. And you're gonna notice this may be a little different than our usual format. Tonight, Matt and I are going to have a straight up debate. And
Debate?
then we're gonna ask AI
Yep.
who's right, who's
Yep.
correct here. First things first, the fact that you could say that one of these movies is far superior to the other one just proves what a fucking stew nod you are. All right. The reason this is a debate, a classic debate, a time tested debate, and a debate that, as far as I know, I've never really heard a convincing answer either way, is because the margin is razor thin. Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about two absolute classics here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go as a number one guy, not to be boring, but it's the OG. Okay. Without the original Godfather, we don't know Michael's journey. We don't know what ends up happening to Vito. Without Godfather 1, we don't even know who Sonny is. So, my point right off the bat is the characters. The characters in the original Godfather are stronger, they're more pronounced, and they're more dynamic than the characters in the sequel, Godfather 2. What say you, Mattie?
All right. So, Bern, I'll tell you this. I see what you're saying, and you are correct. It is razor thin, the margin. Absolutely razor thin, razor thin, razor thin. If you don't want a
Razor
thin
Thin is a
razor, go to Blue Chew.
Blue
But
Chew, baby.
you saw that one coming. But
Yeah.
no, razor thin margin. You're absolutely right. Great performances in both shows, and there are some scenes and some parts of one that are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like the scene in the restaurant where he shoots the police chief when Sonny dies. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it. Sonny beating up Carlo, right? Even like small things like the scene at the dinner tables, like, or when they're making the sauce, like incredible stuff. Shot beautifully, performed impeccably, absolutely fantastic stuff. But to me, the greater depth and complexity is in part two because it isn't just what they call a sequel. It's a parallel story that expands the saga. By interweaving Vito Corleone's origin story with Michael's downfall, it creates a richer, more complex, narrative tapestry, so to speak. We see the Corleone family's rise and fall, exploring, the themes of, ambition and power and corruption and all that stuff. And then also, you want to talk about character. You want to talk about character. We get in just like enhanced character development. Part two, we delve deep into the psychology of the characters, particularly Michael. We witness his chilling transformation from a war hero to a like total mafia boss, which culminates in like his tragic isolation, obviously. And then the character arc arguably is one of the most compelling in cinematic history, but the real one is you get the origin of Vito. Vito. I'll tell you this. One of the strong things you have going about one is the performance of Brando, but DeNiro isn't too shabby either. Vito played well in both. They almost kind of wash each other out. What say you, Benoit?
Listen. So yeah, as far as some arguments go, like we're not going to be able to argue about like the cinematography
Right.
or like
They're
the
great on
like
both.
or like the
It's the
pacing.
same fucking guy.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
Coppola
it's
does them both.
Coppola.
So like as far as like the dark scenes in both movies are dark and kind of foreboding and ominous. The brighter scenes in both movies, whether it's in Sicily or you know what I mean, like are full of life. And so yeah, technically like these movies are a technical standstill, right? They're
Yeah.
made by the
Yeah.
same guy, they're made by the same people. Um I do take I mean I don't know though that I could say that Vito Corleone washes. I think Brando's performance is a little weirder, and to be fair, Brando has more to do. You know what I mean? De Niro has to kind of be very kind of laser focused. He's moving a narrative way quicker. In the first one, you see Brando. You're like, what is this? What's this guy all about? We first meet him. He's petting a cat. I can't understand what he's saying. He's
Yeah.
happy. He's playing with grandkids, but he's smart. But he doesn't show how smart he is. I feel you. The Vito origin story is something that I didn't think I needed until I saw it. Right. And then you go like, okay, well, this makes a lot of sense now. Now I understand the
Yeah.
man I was dealing with.
Yeah.
But I think the transformation of Michael, I mean, think about the first movie. He comes home. He's a war hero. He has
War
gone
hero.
so far out of
Mhm.
his way
Mhm.
to get away from the trappings of his family, right? Just
Yeah.
to cut his own path. And the tragedy of Michael is that as soon as he comes back into their atmosphere, he realizes that there's no way to escape. He can't escape. He's looking at his sister and the relationship she's in. He's looking at his father who's
I
aging,
mean,
and he can feel that Vito knows that there's some shenanigans going on, and he's got to get to the
dude,
bottom of them.
let's talk about secondary characters though. Let's talk about them, right? Like
Okay.
in the first one, You had Sonny, incredible secondary character, right? He gets killed off. Then you have, I mean, I guess he'd be a co-main. I don't know if you want to call him secondary, right? But then you also had like Clemenza, right? Was there? He wasn't in the second one. Well, older Clemenza wasn't. Young Clemenza
Correct.
was,
Correct.
right? But like young Clemenza is kind of just, you know what I mean? Like, and then, in you
Luca
know, you had
Brasi.
Luca, dude,
Luca
all-time
Brasi.
secondary character, Luca Brasi. So, like this, but I'll tell you, it's strong performance in both, but I think it was stronger in the second one. Was Talia Shire. Talia Shire was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic, dude. That scene in the first one, right, where she gets beaten with the belt while pregnant. My God. My God. That's like, it's chilling to watch that, right? So to see this like sweet little Italian homemaker girl that gets abused, and then now we see her like, she doesn't know where her son is. He's in jail in Reno. She's going to Michael for money. She's sleeping around with this guy, that guy, right? To see the arc of that character who was just she got the bad end of the stick of this life, really. You know what I mean? Like she's kind of a total victim in this, and really came out the wrong end. Her character transition from 1 to 2 was astounding. And then also Fredo in the first one, he goes to Vegas. You don't really see him. In the second one, he is just fantastic. I don't know the name of the actor, but whoever played him was remarkable, right? Because like there is kind of like you do kind of feel for Fredo in a way, but then you're also like, Fredo, you dumb son of a bitch. You turned on the family, you dumb son of a bitch. But then also, that's like you see that also goes with the contrast of like how Vito, he maybe he wasn't ultra forgiving, but he worked with loyalty and favors, and he kind of built an empire on that. Where contrasting to Michael, he built his empire on cold-blooded pragmatism, man. Like he just was like, this is how it's gonna be. Follow the rules or you get got. Burn.
All right. So John Cazale is the name of the actor who played Fredo.
Fantastic, dude. Shout out, incredible performance in both.
John, yeah, and John Cazale is one of those guys who, I mean, what do we have? We
Deer
had
Hunter and
Deer
yeah,
Hunter and Dog Day Afternoon, and that was,
yeah.
I mean, he really only did a handful of films. He died young.
Oh no
Um,
shit.
yeah, John Cazale. Listen, yes, Cazale's an incredible actor, and you don't really get him in the first one.
Yeah.
But you do get Jimmy Caan, man.
Oh,
You do get Jimmy Caan. And Jimmy Caan is such a complicated power keg of emotions. One of my favorite
oh,
scenes in the original is when they're sitting around the table and you can tell like Sonny is ready to go off. He's
yeah,
ready to go off. He's ready to go out. He's ready to settle all family business right
yeah.
there in
Oh
that
yeah.
moment, right there.
Oh yeah.
And it's Vito's job to be like, listen, I get it. And I have the exact same rage that you're feeling right now. But as soon as we let somebody else see that, we're compromised,
Yeah.
you know? So okay, so we're spinning a little bit because now we're trying to figure out who has the best there's not a single character in this saga that's not really fleshed out. And
True.
also to your
True.
Talia Shire point, she has way more to do in the second one, and she's really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Um,
But to your point, Sonny is a character, an all timer, and an all time performance that you didn't have in the second one, and they tried to replace it with more Fredo and Roth. You know.
right, Hyman Roth, and it doesn't
Yeah.
quite get
And
there.
they did, and they gave you a little. Who's the little Italian guy that God
Oh,
that
Pantangeli,
Pantangeli, Frank
Pantangeli,
Pantangeli.
Frank Pantangeli.
He was great. Great. Pantangeli's great. But you do get more Bobby Duvall in the second one too. More like just I guess he has more to do,
He
Bobby
has more to
Duvall.
do.
Yeah.
Um, I guess a lot of it for me is that the second one tells a much broader, not broader story. It's more spread out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
now we're sitting now Michael's sitting in the chair, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots to do. We got
Okay.
Vegas going on. We got
Yeah.
Cuba going on. You know what I
Right.
mean? We got this whole casino empire going on.
Yeah.
So I guess what it comes down to for me, story wise, is I like the simplicity of that first story of watch. If you really just watch it and say you just watch it for Michael, right?
Okay.
Comes home, he's got his dresses on, his dress greens on, and
Yeah.
by the end of it, he's having a conversation with Carla. Such a transformation
Right.
in that small amount of time. So I think for me, Michael's the most interesting character, and I lean
Yeah.
toward one because I find his growth more interesting in the first one. It's more interesting watching him kind of fall into that than it is for me to watch him then have to wrangle
But
it and
I mean,
control it.
dude, the juxtaposition of his whole life is dedicated to his family, while at the same time his family is leaving him, right? Like like that arc there is damning in a way, you know? Like that's just like this guy is so bent hell bent on the Corleone name being taken, like going down in history as this great thing, that his family doesn't want anything to do with him. But his whole life is dedicated to his family, right?
Yeah, it's why this whole series works really well. You don't want to say
Well,
you don't want to say poor
the first
guy.
two work really well.
Yeah, yeah. Let's call it the saga, right? Because because
Yeah.
because in a move of brilliance to kill this debate, there is an edited version of the first two movies called the
Right,
Godfather Saga, which just runs
right.
chronologically. You know what I
And it's
mean? It doesn't
incredible.
make you
It's
make the
absolutely
decisions.
fantastic. Yeah,
It's near perfect.
yeah.
Um,
If you have 10 hours.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Um, no, that's a good point. I think watching him realize in the original how nervous he is to shoot the police chief, but then
Oof.
from the point where he does that, he realizes immediately there's no half measures, right? I can't do this on anything other than 100%,
Yeah.
right? And you're right. The second one, the tragedy of it is that in order to preserve his family, he's kind of got to lose his family.
Yeah.
And quite literally, with, spoiler alerts, his boat ride with Fredo. Ooh, heart-wrenching moments. I mean, what's the most heart-wrenching moment? Is it Vito in the garden, or is it Fredo on the boat?
Vito in the Garden's tough because the way, and it's brilliant that he did it, that he was with the grandson,
Hmm.
right? Because it's like the new and the old, right? Like he had the different time, like the I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm saying, right? He had like
It's
the
generational, you know.
corresponding generations, right, right, right. He had he had that. I don't know, Talia with the scene we talked about, her getting beat. Then they also have like, I mean, Jesus, dude,
That Sunny scene at the
the
toll booth is
Sunny,
pretty tough.
yeah, Sunny at
It's
the
pretty
toll
tough to
booth's
watch.
tough. Sunny, but dude, but then you have like, in when they're leaving Cuba, Fredo, you broke my heart, right? I know it was you, Fredo. I know it was you, and you broke my heart. That's Fredo's kiss of death right there. That's when you knew Fredo was dead, right? And then also, I mean, yeah, the horse show. Can't disregard that.
Can't forget
But
that.
I mean, just the way I mean, oh, gosh, you have, I mean, oh, even the scene where they tricked the politician with the prostitute, right? Like, God, that was great. But yeah, and then when Hyman Roth comes clean about Mo Green,
Mhm.
like that's another one. Yeah. Oh man, there's
I,
it's
I will say to you, I will give you a nod here on the second one.
or
Uh,
Vito when he kills the dude that killed his family. Sorry, go ahead.
that one's big. I will say it's not a very funny saga. There's not a lot of humor in it, I will say the funniest scene in the entire saga is Frank Pantangeli in the courtroom in the second one. I mean, that is
Oh,
laugh out loud
the
hilarious.
best.
Like,
The best.
I don't know if it was meant to be as funny as it was, but that scene kills me every time.
Every
The
time.
way he just switches and then just starts roasting the entire courtroom is pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
make a point here though. This is something I learned from
The Offer.
the offer.
Yeah.
The offer.
Great.
So
Hey, great show.
great
Great
show.
show.
Um,
Great show.
and who knows how much of this is actually true, but like they had so much trouble selling that script because gangster movies were kind of done, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of done with the,
Yeah.
guy hanging out of the car and the Tommy gun with the
Yeah.
pinstripe
Yeah.
suit. And it was a
Yeah.
genre that was kind of fading. Without the original Godfather, I think of all the incredible gangster mob. I think of Scorsese's whole career. I mean, we might not get that without the OG Godfather. We might not get people to be open to making those kind of films. Now, obviously, The Godfather 2 coming on its heels and also being excellent was like that if the Godfather cracked the door, then The Godfather 2 kicked it off the hinges. And let
Okay.
everyone know, like if you have interesting movies to make um
Here you go.
about organized crime, people still have a
Well,
desire
I
for that.
do I do love though that in the show, The Offer, they talk about like this isn't a show about crime or about gangsters. It's a movie about family. And
Mm-hmm.
that's true throughout the whole entire saga. It is a movie about family. It's about revenge. It's about building your family from nothing. It's about protecting your children. It's about, bringing honor to your family's name. All of those tie in. So, Bern, I'll tell you this. One, we're pretty smart,
I
right?
think we're pretty smart. Yeah.
I believe that we've argued this very well and discussed it just elegantly, incredibly. We didn't yell at each other. We had great points to make. We gave each other time to speak. Honestly, we didn't even map out how we were going to do that, but I think we nailed it. We didn't take too long on our points. We kicked it back and forth. I wanted rebuttal. You wanted rebuttal. We worked with what each other talked about. Like, just incredible stuff. Great research done on both ends. But I think now it's time that we ask Alan.
Can I just say one word before we ask AI?
Hey, say whatever you want.
Apollonia.
Oh,
That's all. That's all.
I was wondering when you would throw gravy tits at me. Fucking Apollonia gravy tits, babe.
Saving Apollonia for the end.
You
Apollonia
saved
is
Apollonia for the end, you
my
son of a bitch.
my
Dude,
final argument is one word, and that word is Apollonia.
God, she legit is like one of the most beautiful women that's ever lived. Like,
Truly
oh,
breathtaking.
truly breathtaking. That is beauty, right? Like she is stunningly beautiful. And she had them gravy knockers. You know what I'm saying? Those were some
Apollonia.
fucking gravy knockers, daddy.
And like the way the Sicilians say gravy, they were filled with marinara.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Golly, dude. All right, here we go. So, God, you had to wait to the fucking end to hit me with Apollonia gravy tits.
It
Fucking
was my
gravy tits, Apollonia gravy tits.
my ace in the hole the whole time.
What is your favorite line from either movie? Favorite line?
Oh, that is
I have two that come to mind.
that's really tough. I, the one I use the most in my life is a Fredo line. The one that I've been known to actually throw out there.
I guess I have
Like,
three then.
yeah, when he goes, "I'm smart.
Look at me,
I
I'm
can do
smart.
I can do things.
I'm
I'm not
smart. Look at
I'm
me, I'm
not
smart.
I'm not dumb like everyone says. My favorite part of that is when he goes, "I can do things." Okay, Fredo. Yeah, you can do things. Cocktail waitresses two at a time, apparently.
Oh, dude. Dude, I'll tell you what. He was on some Blue Chew. Had to be. Cocktail
Must have
waitresses
been
two at
that.
a time. Had to be on some Blue Chew.
Must have
Had
been
to
on
be.
that blue chew.
Must have been up the chew. But dude, so I guess, dude, I'm smart. Look at me, I'm smart. That's a great one. I've used that too because I'm the middle son of three boys. My other favorite lines were thus. So my first one, and this one's it's just the best. It's may your first child be a masculine child, right? You know, that was like, dude, Luca Brasi, all
All
time
time.
character. If there's one thing that one holds over two, it's Luca Brasi, without a doubt. And I love too how in the offer, Lou Ferrigno played him in the offer,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
he ended up, it was like the story was behind it was an actual leg breaker. You know what I mean? Uh, and then the other one was You Broke My Heart, Fredo. You broke my heart. You know, I know it was you. You broke my heart. You know what I mean? That one. That's a great one. Those are the two. And then, God, there used to be something too. Oh, I, there was one. Like, oh, this is bad. I dated this Italian girl, and every once in a while, to joke around, you know what I would This is awful. I used to be like, "You guinea brat, get over here, you guinea brat, you guinea brat. Go ahead, call your father, you guinea brat." Yeah, oh my God. Oh man, that's awful. That's awful. Oh goodness. Okay, you ready for hearing what Alan's got to say? Apollonia gravy tits over there, you.
Yes.
Okay, so I said to AI, I said, "Hello, AI, can you please tell me which is better, The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2?" AI responded with thus. They said, "This is a question that sparks endless debate amongst film lovers. Both The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 are considered cinematic masterpieces, not peaches. But which one is better? It's subjective and depends on what you value in film." Of course, you fucking placater. Here's a breakdown to help you consider. Godfather Part 1, strengths. Iconic storytelling, a classic rise and fall narrative with unforgettable characters and scenes. Marlon Brando's performance, his portrayal of Vito Corleone, is legendary. Clearer narrative. It says the plot is more straightforward and easier to follow. And the cultural impact. It set a new standard for gangster films and influenced countless others. All true. We said all the same
Yeah,
things.
we nailed all that.
Yep. Then also The Godfather Part 2, strengths. Ambitious scope. It interweaves Vito's origin story with Michael's downfall, expanding the saga's depth. It also has complex themes, explores themes of family, power, and corruption with even more nuance. But it could have been, like it said, makes it harder to follow as well. Then Bobby De Niro's performance, his portrayal of young Vito, equally iconic. That's AI's words, not mine. And then critical acclaim. Some argue it surpasses the original in its complexity and ambition. Here's what some others say. Al Pacino, who played Michael Corleone, prefers Part 1 for its strong storytelling and pacing. Many critics consider Part 2 a rare sequel that equals or even surpasses the original. Popular opinion, it's often split, with passionate arguments on both sides. It says us. Ultimately, the AI says this. It says, ultimately, the best answer is watch both or rewatch them and decide for yourself. You might find your performance changes over time. Both films are essential viewing for any film enthusiast. They also have this one last thing. It says, and I don't know if I'm reading this right. Oh, it says that we're both stupid because three's the best one.
What?
Spoiler. Just
Oh,
kidding. Three is for psychopaths. If you actually like three, you're a psycho. And if anyone out there thinks 3 is the best one, fucking hang yourself.
No, don't hang yourself. Contact us. We'd like to have you on the show first.
John Cannon.
John Cannon.
John Cannon, you son of a bitch. That's you. We know it's you.
John Cannon is a Godfather 3 guy all day, every day, and
I'm
twice
writing
on
that as John Cannon's favorite movie is Godfather 3. You son of a bitch, John Cannon. Dude, John Cannon. I mean, Vern, to be fair, I know he's a ball buster, but I fucking love John Cannon.
No, listen, I got nothing but love for John Cannon. Listen, since when do we not like ball busters? We need ball busters. We got to keep us honest here. Listen, ultimately for me, I'm a one guy because I think Michael's the most important character, and I'm a little more interested in his journey in the first one. I think that's
my argument sway you my arguments sway you at any time.
Yeah, I mean you make a lot of good points, and
I'd say the same. I was swayed at points, I had some sway.
And the fact that, I mean, honestly, the hardest thing for me to admit is that there's really nothing funny in the first Godfather. And Frankie Pantangeli is so fucking funny.
Oh, he's so fucking funny.
In Godfather 2.
Yeah. Agreed.
So good. So good.
Yeah. So, okay. Bern, final thoughts before we get out of here.
Listen, if there's a very easy way to solve this, watch the saga. It clips them both together.
Yeah.
And watch The Offer. Because The Offer was actually a really,
fantastic.
really interesting show about.
Shout out Juno Temple.
Yeah, Juno Temple. Yep.
Oh,
Miles Teller.
She's not awesome. Oh, love Juno Temple. She was great. She's a little fucking smoke box too.
She is. Well, you watch. You're not a Ted Lasso guy.
Oh, I loved her in Lasso.
Yeah,
absolutely loved her. Also, did you see the what is it? What's the Fargo season 5?
I have not watched season 5 yet.
Oh, steals the show. Ham steals the show, but she's fantastic in it.
Yeah, I got to get to season 5. I've seen the first 4. I have not seen 5.
Oh, 5 is fantastic. Lamorne Morris, I believe is his name.
Won an Emmy for it.
Yeah, from
our boy Winston.
New Girl.
New Girl.
Yeah, Winston from New Girl. He was fantastic as well.
Winnie the Bish.
Really good.
Winnie the Bish. I love Winston.
Winnie the Bish. He actually played a cop too, which is funny. But Winnie the Bish killed it. And I mean, they also made it. It's like a, it's almost like it's a portrait of America right now. So either way. But Bern, what do you got before we get out of here?
Fun debate, man. Fun debate.
Great debate. I like this new theme is what we're gonna do from now on. We're debating. Yeah, we're debaters. We're master debaters.
We're master debaters. We have lots of practice.
Long form jokes and master debating. That's our gimmick now, Daddy. Get used to it, Daddy-rooney.
Oh, we have one more gimmick too. It's having rock hard ragers whenever we want them.
Yeah.
Because of Blue Chew.
Yeah.
Pin drop, rager. Wind blows, just rager. Godfather's on, rager. Oh, Godfather 2's on next, double rager. Here's what you got.
Godfather 3, you're gonna have a rager because you got Blue Chew.
Whether you like it or not, that one's gonna give you a rager too if you got some Blue Chew in your bag.
Yeah, amen to that, Daddy. Well, speaking of having rock hard ragers while watching gangster films, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's Bern Podcasting. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on this show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And remember to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. And you broke my heart, Fredo. You broke my heart. I know it was you.
I'm smart. I can do things.
I'm smart. All right, thanks. See you. Alright, thanks for sticking around to the end of the show. We're trying to make everything better for you guys, so please comment, let us know how we can improve the show and make it something that you love to watch and share with all your friends, because that's the only way we're going to grow this son of a gun. We love you all so much. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, send any messages you got over to Blue Chew. Let them know to sponsor us. Other than that, we love you, we adore you, and we can't do this without you. We love you. See you. Goodbye!